Hello friends, so today we are going to be cooking some chicken tacos with scratch-made taco seasoning, scratch-made corn tortilla and a scratch-made creamy chimichurri sauce to go on top. So taco, I already had this pre-marinated in my freezer, and the seasonings is just whatever I had in my cupboard that's a Mexican type spice, like your cumin, your paprika, your coriander seed, salt, pepper, whatever I had, and then a citrus. I love orange citrus when it comes to Mexican flavors, but I had lemons that really needed to be used up more so than my oranges, so this batch does have lemon. So no actual footage or recipe for my taco seasoning. Just look at your favorite packet of taco mix and that will tell you the flavors that's in it. And then if you have it by the pure spice, there's cinnamon in this one actually, but if you have it in the pure spice, then you don't have any of the added crap that you normally get in pre-made seasonings. And then I got some corn flour here, also known as polenta, also known as maize, also known as masa. I really hope I'm getting this all correct and this is the right thing to make corn tortillas. I was going to say corn flour tortillas. Corn tortillas. I've made flour tortillas plenty of times. Amazing. So if this fails, we can just make up a batch of flour. Never made the corn ones before, so hopefully that works. And yeah, chimichurri. Chimichurri I've made a few times. Delicious. We're going to add some mayonnaise and sour cream to our regular chimichurri recipe to make it creamy. I'm going to use carbonated water. Delicious. Now let's go outside, turn on this barbecue and cook this meat. This is bone-in chicken thighs and chicken breast. We'll do it low and slow, get it cooking. And while that's outside, Nick's already outside banging around, if you can hear that. I'll get him to keep an eye on it for me and flip it every 5 minutes or so. And we can come back inside and make the tortilla.
So please excuse the mess around here. We had a fire last night and Nick was prepping wood for another fire to have that night. We enjoy having a little bonfire, just the two of us, or sometimes invite some people over. Anyway, so he was chopping up all the wood and then we done a massive cleanup afterwards, so that's why it's messy. This flat top barbecue, this is my barbecue. I love it. I love cooking on it. Nick loves the American style barbecue. He has a pit boss smoker and a vertical smoker and charcoal kettle cooker thing. I mean, I love all that too, but my style of cooking on a barbecue, I much prefer the flat top. One thing about this specific flat top though is, see how it indents in the middle, so the grease goes into the middle. I didn't really notice that when I was buying one. I wish I'd done one that was completely flat and it was like maybe slightly forward, and then I had the grease tray separate. So this is just a cheap one either. I just got a cheap one, see if I actually used it, enjoyed it, everything like that, which I definitely am loving it. We cook so much out on this barbecue. I feel like even more so than our regular pans inside, to be honest. It's just so easy to cook, to clean, and we just eat outside as well, so that's also convenient. But anyway, so I got this heated up. Once it started to heat up, I put on a little bit of olive oil. We generally use olive oil or avocado oil. And then we just got the chicken going. I got it on a low heat and I let it cook for about 5 minutes before I flip it, and another 5 minutes, and I flip it again, and about another 5 minutes, and then I check it to see if it's done and whatnot. This is a mixture of chicken breast and chicken thighs with the bone in. It's just what we had, what I had pre-marinated, froze, and now we're cooking it.
Alrighty, so make the corn tortilla. Some recipes I've seen says maize, some says masa. I asked ChatGPT if there's a difference. Apparently, maize is the flour, masa is the paste once the flour is with water. So when they say masa, but they use a flour, it's technically maize, and they're making it flour. And then for some reason, I think this is an Australian thing, we call it polenta, which is completely different. So you got your cornstarch, which is white, fluffy. This is corn flour, which is grainy. It looks like the texture of sugar. It's not like big grains, but so yeah, we'll be making the corn tortilla with this anyway. So the recipe that I'm using is from a TikToker. I think her name was Daniela. I don't know how to link TikTok video. I'll try to figure out, see if I can link a TikTok video, and we'll do that. And again, if this fails, we can just quickly make up some plain white flour tortillas. 1 cup measurer. I'm doing exactly what her recipe says. So it's 2 cups of cornmeal, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 to 2 cups of water, depending on your climate and how warm your water is. But she reckons like very warm to hot water, as much as your hands can handle, because we're mixing with our hands. So we got 1 cup in there. We'll add in our 2nd cup. As you all probably know already, I love the Redmond real salt, so I want half a teaspoon of salt. She mixes with her hands. My hands are nice, freshly clean. I'm just going to mix these two together. I don't know if you really have to or not. And same cup measure, I'm going to get some warm water. So 1.5 to 2 cups of water. So I'm pretty positive we'll use all of this 1 cup, but she says to add it slowly. That's probably about 2/3 there. It's always so weird playing with different textures of your hands. So yeah, I'm just going to add the rest of this 1 cup of water. So now it's like wet sand, but we need this to be like a paste and a dough. All right, now I want to be a bit more slowly with the water. So this is my 2nd cup. I shouldn't have to use any more than this 2nd cup. It's very dry still. This is very yellow in colour. Oh, is this the right stuff? Now I'm second guessing myself. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Because on this bag it's called corn, flour, polenta and maize. But on other bags it says masa. So I'm like, is it the same thing? Is it not? I don't know. Okay, see, that seems wet. See, if I squeeze it, I don't think this is the same stuff. It's so dry, but there's just wetness. Oh gosh. We might have to ditch this and make just the white flour tortilla. I don't think this is right. It's too yellow and it's not hydrating. Like, it's not soaking up the water. We'll go check the chicken outside. We'll let this sit for a minute, which isn't part of the recipe. I don't think this is right. This isn't right, so I'm just going to chuck this out and we'll make some flour tortillas. Which flour tortillas I've made plenty of times, so I know that's going to actually work for us today. So I just rinsed out this bowl. I'll make sure that it's nice and dry, and then we'll start flour tortillas. Now I just need to find my recipe. I have so many different notebooks with recipes written around, so I need to figure out which one it's in. But that's okay. That was quite easy. Second book I went for, so I'll show you that if you want to take a screenshot. Otherwise, I'll leave a link of that down. I'll type it down in the description as well. Let's get the flour tortilla started. So there you go, if you want to take a screenshot of that recipe. It's been quite a while. Oh no, do I have enough flour? Oh.
So I did have enough flour. I know I did not leave this as full, so Nick had topped it up for me. I didn't even realize we had a spare flour. I don't know. But Magic Fairies came and topped it up for me because I know I didn't do that. Normally now when I do my baking or making anything, I much prefer weighing my ingredients in grams. This is a recipe I've written down in one of these notebooks. You can see the notebook right there. That I had written down for quite a while, like a few years now. And I used to be just wanting everything in cups. I thought it was easier. Now I've learned and is in a habit of getting out the scale and just setting the bowl on scale. It is so much easier to do it by scale. So, but I'm just doing it by cups because it's just how I've written out this recipe and it's worked every time. I always keep the flour out to the side. It might need a little bit more flour, might need a little less flour. I actually made these wraps, the exact same recipe today, the day I'm doing this voiceover, and I needed to add a little bit of extra water, about another tablespoon or two. So doing it by cups and just your general temperature outside, it does depend. Sometimes a little bit more flour, a little bit more water. You just go by feel. And you can definitely do this in a stand mixer, but I don't have one, and I do like to do it by hand, just so one, it's a bonus little workout in my day, and two, you can really just feel the dough and adjust to what the dough needs as you're smooth. You don't need to go crazy. It's not like a loaf of bread or anything like that. So once it's smooth, we rest the dough, and then it only needs to sit for about 15-20 minutes, generally whenever I have time to go back to tend it, but it's again not like a loaf of bread. You don't need to let it sit for an hour, hour and a half, whatever. So making tortillas is definitely a much quicker process than making wraps, which is perfect because I just love the Mexican flavors. And I do love a sandwich and things, but I don't know, I'm on a very big wrap kick. So I done these as obviously the tortillas, and I think it's the same recipe. I did say a little bit later on that I'm like, I think I used my wrong recipe, my wrong flour tortilla recipe. I do think it's the same recipe I do for if I'm making takis like today, or if I'm making like say a chicken and salad wrap. Generally, I would have divided the dough up more and have them smaller for tacos. It's been a while since I have made this recipe. But since this day, when I filmed this, I've made it like 4 times since. And again, today that I'm doing this voiceover, I've made it again. Anyway, so while we were doing that, Nick took care of the barbecue, and he called me out saying he thinks it's ready. So I just had a look, and it is. It smells absolutely delicious. That's another thing I love cooking about outside, is like smelling the whole street with good food. But then I hate it if it's like I can smell the good food and it's not from my barbecue. I don't know, it's kind of funny. So I just got that wrapped up, and we're going to let that set until we need the chicken.
Alright, so we've just pulled off the chicken. I just got the excess flour off to the side there. We may need it, we may not, we'll see. Hands are nice and clean again. And we're going to divide this dough into 10. Yeah. So we'll half it. And not like the bagels. The bagel recipe, we can keep adding and dividing. With this tortilla, once you've cut it, it's kind of it, in my experience at least. So some may be bigger, some may be smaller. So we've done this in half, so now we want each piece to go now into 5. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They seem alright, that one's pretty big, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now, same just like bagels, we want to make these into a ball. And between each step, so after we do this, we'll let it rest again for another 10 minutes, because letting it rest is letting all of that gluten relax. Otherwise, it's just going to keep springing back when we try to roll these out. If you have a tortilla press, it might be different, but I'm rolling with a rolling pin. So I'm just pulling it down and pinching it at the bottom. And now I'll do my C motion. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. My goodness. And we'll pop that back in there and let it rest. So pulling it all down. And then I'm just pinching. So I'm spreading the dough down to make it nice and smooth. Pinching it in the bottom. and then C-shape back and forth on the bench just like this to get it rolled. And now I like to use my new KitchenAid food processor to make the chimichurri sauce. So while we're letting these dough balls rest back here for like 10 minutes, we got time, we can make our sauce. So normally we would want parsley and coriander, but parsley, this is coriander here. Parsley would have to be one of my least favorite herbs. Like, I don't mind it as a little bit on garnish, otherwise I don't care for it much. So I'm going to take most of this sleeve of coriander, just make sure it looks all fine and good. I'm going to chuck that in the food processor straight away. So it's probably like, it's not much really, oh my goodness, half a cup packed. Not much at all. I just didn't want to get too close to the roots because I am being a little lazy right now. I should wash it regardless. But I mean, this does look very nice and clean and washed, like even the roots aren't dirty, so I think we are safe to not wash this. And these seeds from the roots, beautiful flavour. You can definitely eat that, so we're just going to chuck that in. This stuff, that looks like some growing medium, so we don't want to eat that, like perlite or something. I'll do juice of half a lemon. I'm going to juice it in a cup first because I always squeeze seeds out. That's what I was saying, parsley and coriander, but not the biggest fan of parsley, so if I buy a bunch, I mean, I could have brought a bunch and used a whole bunch right now in this recipe, but otherwise it's just not my favorite. I don't use it, so I don't buy it. So this is going, there's no seeds, so we chuck in the lemon juice, but this is going to be just a pure coriander chimichurri. Again, garlic, if we had fresh garlic, I'll definitely use it, but we do have a couple jar stuff in the fridge which I want to get used up, which one of them is a mixer of ginger and garlic. I use that in the chicken seasoning. So we do a good teaspoon and a little bit of garlic. Red wine vinegar. So we got some red wine vinegar here. I always give this stuff a good shake. So you can do just lemon juice without any vinegar, or you can just do vinegar. If you were to do a vinegar base without lemon juice, definitely recommend red wine vinegar for this recipe. So just a couple of tablespoons there. If I didn't have that lemon juice, I would do a touch more, but we had that lemon juice, so. Salt and pepper. I haven't prepared any pepper, and I might be lazy, I might not worry about it. We'll just do salt. We definitely want a nice amount of salt. And we want to add in some dried oregano. If we had fresh, I probably would still just do dried. The texture of fresh oregano, I think, is a bit different, and that's just me. I don't know why I feel that way. I rarely work with fresh oregano, but we'll do dried oregano. And I think that is everything. We'll add in some olive oil, but we'll do that in a little bit because we want that to be emulsified. We want this coriander to get chopped first. So we'll just pulse it a couple of times and then we'll let it go.
Now this was an absolute delicious recipe, a delicious chimichurri. I would rather it not creamy. I have made regular chimichurri a couple of times, and like I said, normally I do put onion in my chimichurri and chili, but I didn't add the onion today because we have raw onion on the taco, so I didn't want like an overload of onion flavor. And I didn't do chili because my mother-in-law was over to eat and she doesn't like chili, so that's completely fine. Adding the mayonnaise and the sour cream dulls the flavor down immensely, and it is still delicious, and it worked really good with the chicken, and it was something fun. Will I make this again? Probably not. I would definitely rather just sour cream on my taco and just your good old classic chimichurri. I really do want to try that next taco night actually. But like I said, this is still a great recipe. It's still fun, it's still delicious, just not my preference. I tasted, felt like it needed more like tang to it, so I added some more lemon and some more red wine vinegar.
Just gonna grab a spoon because I don't know if it's missing something or it's just because it is a dressing, like a sauce. So it's missing all of the chicken and stuff. But we don't normally would serve it with sour cream, but I think if we do serve this with sour cream as well in the tortilla is gonna have cheese, fine white onion. That's what I normally do actually. I put red onion in my tortilla and my chimichurri, but that's okay. Maybe that's what it's missing. It is really good. It just doesn't taste as creamy and it's very liquidy. Which I didn't expect mayonnaise and sour cream to make it liquidy, but whatever. It is what it is. I do think on the tortilla, we'll have the tortilla, some cheese, the chicken, fine white onion, the sauce, and maybe sour cream off to the side. That's one thing now. Rather than continuing to keep mixing sour cream in, because then I feel like that's going to dull down the whole chimichurri sauce. Whereas if this is on the side, it's a different texture. And then you'll have a bite of the more pure sour cream that you would expect on a taco anyway. So I think that is good. I think it's going to be better altogether. I'm just not one to enjoy sauces and things like as is. It's weird to me. I need it with something. So I think we are good with that. And just, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be so runny. That's very runny. But we'll transfer this to a bowl. Get this washed up right away. Clean up with the bench and roll out these tortillas and get them frying. My pan's already on a medium heat. That's going to go for at least 5 minutes to heat up because we want the pan to be hot. Hot doesn't always mean high. We do want a medium heat, just very nice and hot so the tortillas don't stick. But yeah, transfer this bowl, we'll clean up, do tortillas, and then we're done. We're just going to take the chicken, dice it up. I'm excited. It smells so good. I'm getting hungry now too. All right, what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do, I got a a clean tea towel. We'll put ready on the side here. Because as soon as our tortilla is done, we're going to do that and flip this up. Our pan is ready to go. Our bench is clean and dry. And our balls of dough has been resting long enough so they can be handled again. There shouldn't be no need to flour down on surfaces, so just grab one. And after every couple of presses, we want to make sure to turn. So it's now getting nice and thin, but we want to keep going. You'll be able to tell when you do it yourself, when it's too thin, it's about to fall apart. This one's quite a big tortilla. I would love to invest in a tortilla press. There's so many things I'd love to invest in, but I don't feel like I make tortillas that often to warrant one. Okay, we'll rotate this one more time. Okay. You can see right through that. I don't know. So we'll go put this on in our pan, and as soon as it lands, that wasn't very scented, but we don't want to touch it. We want to leave it on this side for about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll tell when to be able to flip. You can see there is some slight bubbling here. So there we go. That's very good. Perfect. So, oh, actually, because it didn't go flat, you can see that's still some raw dough. So I normally only flip once, but I will reflip just to try and get that piece coloured. But although we only got very small amount of browning, that is exactly what we want. And I can see as well it's lifting up this way. So I'm going to push like this, and you want to be careful because this is now puffing up. You really want to be careful of steam. Steam in these tortillas are going to burn. So from the pan, onto our clean tea towel. It still has pockets of steam, so be very careful. And we want to push down. And this is going to trap the steam in, and this will make it nice and flexible. Pan's empty. I got one piece ready. Definitely not the prettiest roller, but it's okay. Place it in about 30 seconds, and so we'll start rolling out our next piece. And again, if you're unsure if it's ready to flip, you shake your pan. Actually, let's see if I can just flip it like this. Do you reckon I can do it? Ah! Hang on. Oh! I mean, I could have gone on slightly longer, but that's fine. But if it was not ready to flip, it wouldn't budge. I mean, it moves instantly, but when you first put a fresh one in, it shouldn't budge. We'll let that cook. Alright, let's see if I can do it again. Ooh. No, okay, whatever. That is beautiful colouring. We'll just give it a second on this side. And then we just slide it right on top and give it a nice push. I've got a couple rolled out already, so we'll keep going in this same motion until they're all done.
Now to prepare this meat, like I said, we use a mixture of chicken breast and chicken thighs with the bone in. So I'm just putting on some gloves, shredding the meat. It's cooled down, it's fine to handle, and it is nice and soft. So the outside is nice and charred and barbecued, but the meat is still nice and soft, thank goodness. And we're just rough chopping this quite fine, and then we're mixing the white meat and the thigh meat together, and so you get a little bit of everything really. It's just all mixed together. I just think it's the best way to serve barbecue chicken meat this way, like in this application, like a taco. So as you can see, my wraps or my tortillas are quite large. I really wish I made them smaller. I didn't, but that's fine. So to assemble, we're just using some cheese, some of the chicken, fine white onion. I was going to do coriander, but again, chimichurri, at least for me, I make it with just coriander. Normally it is 50% coriander and parsley. So didn't do any leafy greens. I just left it with the sauce and some sour cream.
Alright, I have to make this quick because it's getting cold and people are hungry and we got places to be, but look at all these tacos. I normally add chili flakes in chimichurri as well, but my mother-in-law is here having some and she doesn't like chili, so I'm just going to add chili flake to mine. And that looks delicious. So, I think I've done the wrong type of tortilla. I think these are more like wraps rather than taco, especially by the size of them. Whoops. But I'm sure it's still going to be delicious. That is I really like that. Alright, they're eating it, they're happy. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Some recipes will be linked down below, like the tortilla and the chimichurri. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!